Well, hey now, it's Brace for Impact, and I'm your host, Mike Gilbert, and I'm going solo on that ass, but it's still the same. We're talking a very interesting TNA wrestling show, to say the least. The chat is blowing up. Keep those chats coming. I'm going to get to your chats. In case you just missed it, about 20 minutes ago, at the very end of TNA, Mike Santana was wrestling Ryan Nemeth for the World Championship, which is problem number one. Problem number one is Ryan Nemeth is in a world title match, which, he was never expected to win. It was made very clear it wasn't like a serious title match, but they were still doing the title match. And during the match, Nick Nemeth is about to come out to save his brother. And he gets attacked backstage, and it turns out that it's the NXT crew. NXT hits the ring, all the heels. It's, Charlie Dempsey, it's Dark State, Brian Pillman Jr., whatever the fuck his new name is. So with his sideburns, and then a few other people, and they hit the ring, and Steve Macklin tries to make the save, and the Rascals make the save, and Hometown Man of all people try to make the save, and he just gets tossed out like a geek. And they beat down Mike Santana, and they break his arm, and then which causes Frankie Kazarian to come out, and he's got the Call Your Shot trophy, and he cashes in his trophy, and Mike Santana loses the TNA championship to one Frankie Kazarian to a roll-up. So TNA is so far out of ideas, they decided, you know what? Seth Rollins just did this to CM Punk, very similar fashion. CM Punk he wasn't really laid out due to an invasion, so it's kind of different, but same premise came in, and that's what WWE's been doing for years with the Money in the Bank gimmick, and TNA just lifted the gimmick, and because they literally have no original ideas anymore, which is a shame because TNA used to be the company that had all the original ideas that other promotions were taking, but they don't anymore. They have to take all the bad WWE ideas. And so we got that great moment at Bound for Glory, where Santana won the title in front of about 6,500 people. Shout out Dobby the Brain Heenan. And they go dark for a month. They're completely ice cold. They're running Full Sail University. They I think they're lucky to have 200 people in the audience. If every time they would shoot the crowd, it was just like some people and a bunch of empty seats. So it was a pretty pathetic looking crowd. And Mike Santana lost his belt in front of probably less than 200 people after all of that. After that big old moment with his daughter, and they did the whole thing. This is just a completely creatively bankrupt company with no soul. And they killed the Mike Santana moment to get some heat on a 50-year-old Frankie Kazarian that has never really been a main event talent. A good wrestler, a really good wrestler, actually. I like his character. Always has really good matches. The guy can go. He's not a world champion. And so they killed all of that to put the belt on Frankie Kazarian, who I do like. Like, I don't want anybody to think that I don't like Frankie. I do. He's just not a world champion. And to do that on this night, whenever they've been gone for a month, they're ice cold, and I get they're trying to do like hot shot the territory, but like this doesn't do like completely stealing an idea from WWE that they just used a few months ago. Doesn't hot shot your territory. Now, if they did it with somebody that was like over, that the crowd saw as main event, like a big star, like a Seth Rollins, it would work. But it's Frankie, and like there's nothing wrong with Frankie. It's a good wrestler. He's not a top guy. He just isn't. And that's not even an insult to him. He might take it as an insult, but I don't mean it in an insulting way. It's just, I'm just trying to be like, just being honest and realistic about where the company stands. They really, so everybody, a lot of people had a bad taste in their mouth after Bound for Glory. There are some folks out there that like their whole online persona is ignoring anything bad about TNA and only highlighting the positives. And every company has those people, right? And so those people will say the Bound for Glory was a really good show, but well over half of those matches were no good. The finishes were really bad. But the last two matches sent the crowd home happy. And so I was like, okay, look, like I couldn't get to a thumbs up. I was more of like a thumbs in the middle. But the Mike Santana match was really good and had a really good finish, although it was overbooked with the Kazarian and Nick Nemeth stuff. I liked the Hardys and the Dudleys match. I thought that was a good match, although I felt like the melodrama after the match was way too much. It's too long. Took forever to get to the point. But like I thought the match was good. It was fun. It was like a fun trip down memory lane with those two tag teams that I grew up watching, right? So I dug that. So I was like, okay, if you maybe came to a thumbs up, it's probably because you're like a super positive guy. If you think this is good, I just don't think that you and I are on the same wavelength as far as what pro wrestling is. I love heat. This isn't heat because nobody cares. It's like I didn't leave the episode tonight. It's like, man, I can't wait to watch what happens next week. I can't wait to watch Turning Point tomorrow. I left the episode this week being like, this company fucking sucks. Which is the way I felt after Slammiversary. I felt that way after Bound for Glory, kinda, like not as bad as Slammiversary. Slammiversary was one of the worst pay-per-views I ever watched. Bound for Glory was not. Bound for Glory had a lot of good parts to it. And it ended really well. But I like tonight's episode had me feeling the same way I felt after Slammiversary. Now I'm not gonna come on here and do like an angry rant because I just don't think that they deserve that. Like they're not worth it. They're completely creatively bankrupt. They don't know what they're doing. They have no ideas. They have zero heart, zero soul. Delirious and Tommy Dreamer are jerking each other off, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't. They literally don't know what they're doing. They're just recycling old ideas, and trying to generate some type of heat because they're not creative enough to be able to get people over. And they're trying to do it with like a 50-year-old Frankie Kazarian who's mostly been a mid-carder, lower mid-carder like his whole life, right? Which is not an insult. Like he's been a really good, solid wrestler his whole career, like forever. He's fantastic. But this is how they want to put him up to the world title. I'm not even like, I know a lot. I'm going to get to the chat. I know like a lot of you guys are mad. I'm not even mad. I'm not even disappointed. I'm just like, you guys just suck. It's just like you guys don't know what you're doing. There's a lot of people that think that maybe Mike Santana is out of the company. I certainly hope he is, because I wouldn't trust these people with my career. I wouldn't trust these people to book me as a top guy for a year. I wouldn't. If I were him, I would. Like I genuinely hope as a fan of his that he is leaving and that he gets to go somewhere else with maybe more competent people, or if they're not competent, maybe like people that will actually pay him a lot of money, right? And so he's probably maybe he's betting on himself and going to the WWE, or I don't know that he would go back to AEW. If I were Tony Khan and I wanted to strike a blow against TNA, I would take their world champion. Like that's smart, because TNA's got a lot of they had some momentum. They killed themselves by taking a month off after Bound for Glory. And people will say, oh, they needed the time off. No, they didn't. The wrestlers all just kept working. And they didn't produce any new content for an entire month. I don't count open fight night. I didn't even do a podcast last week because I was like, this is nothing. Like none of those matches meant anything. They didn't carry over. I think they mentioned the Danny Luna match on tonight's episode. So they like, if you're Tony Khan, you don't have to take Mike Santana to kill TNA's momentum because they're just going to do it to themselves because they're a wholly incompetent company that has no fucking clue what they're doing. Just bad people running a bad promotion. Like it's a dumb wrestling show enjoyed by dumb people for the most part. And I guess I've been one of those people at times, but tonight I'm not. So I wouldn't even be on the air right now if I didn't already commit to doing the show. It's because it's just so far beneath me. It just really is. Like if I didn't have like this Brace for Impact brand, I wouldn't be doing a podcast tonight, but I have it. TGV says, Mike, screw the TNA talk. Talk about Blood and Guts. Like, so that's the thing. Like, Blood and Guts was an awesome show. Like, they delivered everything that they said they were going to deliver. The two of the bloodiest matches you'll ever see, in a double cage with like an actual cage that's put together really well, in front of like, what, 4 or 5 thousand people, and a hot show with a big world title match. And that was a really good world title match too. So two big War Games matches and a world title match. They delivered. They absolutely delivered what they're going to do. Raw on Monday put John Cena in his hometown of Boston and did a match with Dominic Mysterio that had more crowd heat than anything that you'll ever see. And they gave everybody a moment, and that's how they're kicking off their week. So you got that on Raw on Monday, and I watched that match. I watched Blood and Guts, and then I was looking forward to tonight. And you see a completely dead promotion that just had the biggest night of their company's history not too long ago in front of less than 200 people in a TV studio, with fans that could barely be bothered to watch. A lot of them were playing on their phones and they're chanting for WWE stuff, right? So like they go from that to this, and it's just kind of like, it's embarrassing. Like, you just feel bad for the wrestlers, like they're giving their all because they have such incompetent leadership in that company to do this. I was pretty bullish on them getting that TV deal, but the longer it takes to get that announcement, the less confident I am. And I'll be honest, at this point, I don't even think they deserve one. Like, the show is just bad. Tonight's episode was just not a good episode, and they haven't had an episode. Like, they had an entire month to put the show together, and this is what they came up with. it's like you get, it's like if you're a football team, right, and your opponent doesn't have a month off, but you do, and so you're just studying them for an entire month, and then you go and you play them and you get your ass kicked because you didn't have a real game plan, because you didn't actually put anything together. Like that's what happened tonight. Was like they had one night to put together a Turning Point show, and look, tomorrow's Turning Point show actually looks like it has some fun matches, but nothing's all that interesting. Like, sort of story wise, nothing's all that interesting. And so they had one night to do that because they didn't use their 30 days. They didn't promote anything on NXT. They didn't use that partnership to get anything over. They just did nothing for 30 days. They didn't improve their production. The production was mediocre tonight. They didn't get a new set. Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen that screen before. They didn't get new lighting. They didn't get new anything. It just looked like the regular show. They were just gone for 30 days. And then you come tonight and they lay a complete egg. And here's the problem. They think that they did a good job. I guarantee you they think they did a good job. I guarantee you that somebody from that company is watching this, right? And they're like, Mike is pissed. Man, we nailed it. Well, we got heat. And it's like, no, you didn't. Like I'm embarrassed that I have a TNA podcast. So like, that's not heat, right? You're going to get some people on Twitter that are going to praise this. Like, oh, wow, they really threw us a curveball. It's like, no, they didn't. Like, they just copied the Seth Rollins storyline from a few months ago. Like, they didn't do anything out of the ordinary. They didn't do anything like so far like creative that it's like mind blowing. Let me get to the chat. Let's see. Impact 88 said didn't expect Kazarian. Yeah, I figured like they would. I don't think that they needed to do a really long run with Mike Santana, because I do feel like he's, as a babyface, he's better fighting for something. So like, if in a few months they wanted to take the belt off him, I would have been okay. But it's like the first night, it's like, and they're doing the Josh thing all over again. But who knows? I mean, who knows if Mike's even staying? He might be gone, and I hope he is gone. I hope he does go somewhere else. I think that would be interesting for him. I think that would be a good move for him. Legacy said, I'm guessing Mike's going to WWE in January. I mean, it's possible. Never say never. Alter the Scroll says, I don't know. Usually when a champion loses the title on a weekly show, they're usually gone next week. I'm thinking they wanted to give him his moment at BFG and wanted to keep him chasing. Could be. Let's see. TGV. Imagine your first defense is against an AEW reject and then losing the belt to a guy who left AEW for TNA because TK did not want to use him. LOL TNA. So I know there's a lot of people in TNA that think that there's going to be some people that think that they did a good job tonight because people are mad. No, nobody's really even mad at you guys. They're laughing at you. Like they're embarrassed for you because of how bad your show is. That's not heat. that's not a good thing. Like you don't want people laughing at you unless you're a comedian, right? Like unless you're telling jokes. But they're laughing at you because of how bad you are. And I just don't think that they quite get it. Like they got to be some of the dumbest motherfuckers in pro wrestling that they don't understand that what they're doing is awful, right? And they're gonna be like, well, they're gonna cite the crowds. And okay, they're gonna cite the crowds. Take the WWE and take the Hardys away. Okay, what crowds do you got? Because you're certainly not drawing those crowds because of your good ideas. That's not happening, right? You're not drawing those crowds because if you're awesome booking, that's not happening. You got the Hardys because nobody else wants them, right? And you got this WWE partnership, and that's what you got, and that's why you're getting the big crowds. And people are coming to these shows because they see the momentum that TNA has, and they kind of they feel like they're being a part of something, and then they go and you shit on them, right? Like Slammiversary, you go and you just fucking you tell them that they're stupid for coming to your show. The Slammiversary tickets cost a lot of money, and the people that went there left embarrassed that they were there, right? And then you go and then you do the Bound for Glory. Last two matches were good. I like the last two matches. But everything other than that was dumb finishes and bad wrestling, right? So people are people don't have a lot of money. Our economy, like the American economy, is in the fucking toilet right now. We have such bad leadership in this country, starting from the White House through Senate and Congress. Like all of it's bad. Our economy's gone to shit, right? Nobody has any fucking money, but they're choosing to spend money on your product, and you just fucking treat them like they're dummies, right? People don't have a lot of money, but they spend it on your product, and you don't appreciate it. You don't, because if you did, you would do what Tony Khan does and go above and beyond to give them everything that they've paid for, right? You don't do that. And people can make fun of Tony Khan all they want, but that is true. That's what he does, right? The wrestlers over there, like, people make fun of how long their matches are and how many kickouts they do. It's because they're actively trying to give you so much because they respect the fact that you paid your hard-earned money to come see them wrestle, right? TNA doesn't do that. They take you for granted. They think you're stupid. They don't respect you, right? That's the fucking problem with this company, with the leadership in this company. Like, it's got to change. And tonight is just another example of that.